Okay, Mitchell Johnson has announced his retirement from all forms of cricket at the age of 36. Now, he came onto the international scene in the mid-2000s, so 13 years ago he got into the ODI side for Australia, playing a series against New Zealand. And in 2007 he got into the Test side, debuted against Sri Lanka, and in international T20 against Zimbabwe. He played his last Test match against New Zealand in 2015, played his last ODI match in 2015, and he played his last T20 in 2013. However, he wasn't a first-team regular until a little bit after 2007. He burst onto the scene and he was an intermittent Test and ODI player. Hence why he only got 73 Tests to his name. He could have had more Test matches, and he should have had more Test matches, but he didn't play. He wasn't a regular fixture until later on in his Test career. He came more to the fore later on. He played 153 ODIs. I didn't get how many T20s he played. And here's the thing, he didn't actually get that many runs in one-day internationals. He only got 153. But in Test cricket, he got over 2,000 runs. He got a century and 11 half centuries. So in 73 Tests, he didn't do too bad. He also took 313 Test wickets and 239 ODI wickets. He was more effective as a Test bowler. Test cricket, he was more effective than in the shorter formats of the game, and he could score more in Test cricket. He was part of the long tail. I wouldn't class him as a full all-rounder, because his fielding wasn't always the best, but he could get runs in the tail. He could get half centuries, he could get centuries. So he's almost an all-rounder, but he's not quite. And yeah, he got more wickets in less matches, partly because you have that second innings as well, but he was more effective as a Test bowler. He also had 12 5-wicket hauls in Tests. That is worrying. 12 separate occasions he got 5 wickets. He even had one 10-wicket match as well. He can dismantle a batting lineup. He hasn't played international cricket for 3 years. I mean, at the age of 36, it's not as if he's going to get called up again. If you compare him to someone like Jimmy Anderson's been playing Test cricket for 5 extra years. Jimmy Anderson made his Test debut in 2003, and I was there at Lord's. So he had 5 extra years of international cricket ahead of Mitchell Johnson at Test level. ODI level, 2 extra years. But 4 or 5 extra years of Test cricket for Jimmy Anderson over Mitchell Johnson. Yeah, they're the same age. They're the same age, but Jimmy Anderson got into his Test side for England a lot sooner and became a regular much quicker and was given that responsibility at a much earlier stage. But there are no reason why Mitchell Johnson took longer to get into the Test side. You had Gillespie, McGrath and Brett Lee nailing down roles in that Test side. You had Kasparovich as another bowler. You had 4 or 5 fast bowlers who were ahead of him in the pecking order, who were already nailed down places in and around that Test squad. Some of them were undroppable, like Gillespie and McGrath. You just don't drop those players. Brett Lee, you don't drop him. And the way Australia's set up with Warner's with the spin option and then 4 seamers, there isn't a room for a 5th seamer. There isn't. So that delayed his entrance into the Test side. He comes in after the 2005 Ashes defeat. So he comes in later on after McGrath and Gillespie and Brett Lee. Brett Lee's still around the side, but McGrath and Gillespie have gone. He comes in with Peter Siddle. Kasparovich is still floating around. He winds down his career. There's more space to get into the lineup to be an attacking strike bowler. His peak of his powers, he was possibly one of the best fast bowlers around on his day. He could regularly bowl over 90 mile an hour, regularly, and keep that consistency up for a whole 5-day Test match. His strike rate for taking wickets in Tests is pretty good. Had he got into the Australian Test side earlier, he would have had over 500 wickets easily. He could have easily caught McGrath's wicket total, which Anderson looks set to pass, by the way, in this Test series against India, the way he's been playing. He could have got over 500 Test wickets had he got into the side earlier. His ODI performances with the bat were not great, partly because ODIs he only got 50 overs and he was further down the batting lineup. You don't have the second innings to get runs. You don't have 5 days in a Test match. You have 1 day. And he did get less wickets in almost double the amount of 1-day internationals, which is basically the equivalent to a second innings. So his effectiveness as a 1-day bowler is lessened. But there you go. He's decided to retire at the age of 36 from all forms of cricket. For the better part of the last decade, he's been a fixture in international cricket. It is a shame that he didn't play more tests and more ODIs and more T20s, because I think his wicket totals would have been higher. But he's still a world-class bowler. He's still in the top 10, I think, in seamers in the last decade. And the fact that he can regularly bowl over 90 mile an hour is terrifying for any batsman having to face that. Any batsman. But he couldn't get into the side because you have McGrath and Gillespie in there and Brett Lee, who I think are far better bowlers than this guy. Even though this guy is terrifyingly quick, you've got those three ahead of him. Yeah, they're kind of world-class, Hall of Fame level bowlers. That's not to say this guy ain't good. I think the sport of cricket is less without him, and his sledging is brilliant. Famed for his foul mouth. Yeah, he can get under the skin of a batsman. Many a spat with an English batsman, many a spat with an Indian batsman and a New Zealand batsman and South Africans. He would have a chirp with everyone. But that's his career in numbers. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll have some more videos for you soon.